Welcome back to the podcast, Newborn Fitness Family. My name is Shiloh Bryant. This is my wife.
Danny.
This episode, we're going to talk about something that I think is a very big deal when it comes to moms. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, trying to balance everything. Got so many different tasks going on from with the kids, with a boyfriend, a husband, significant other, maybe the job, and so many different things you're juggling all at the same time and trying to balance it while trying to take time to yourself and so many things. Would you say that balance is a hard component typically when it comes to moms?
Yeah, I think it's something that we've always been taught that we need to have balance. But when you're in the situation, it's like if I give more attention here, there's no way that this is going to balance out. So, especially as a new mom, you know, there's no way to really keep that balance unless there's something that, it's just not working. It's there's no such thing as balance
And I
when it
think
comes to motherhood. And I feel like that's why the stigma is so much harder on us because everybody's telling us you need to balance it. You need to balance it. You need to find a way to balance, your household and your relationship and the baby and how much attention you give one and all these different things. But is there such thing as balance?
And I think that's kind of the key here. I think in a way it's almost set up for everybody to sabotage themselves,
Mm-hmm.
even when it comes to the men, like balancing the family, spending time with the wife. So I can see it on all spectrums of it. Balance in a way is kind of taught to us. The more we think about it, balance is really not the key. It's more about prioritizing the things that are the most important and kind of working your way down the list. Because
Mm-hmm.
how can you balance everything as a mom with 20 million different things going on and think that's not going to stress you out
Yeah.
and think that's not going to make you feel overwhelmed
Yeah,
and
it's
not
gonna
having
put a
time for yourself?
toll on you, on your health, on your mental, and when you're trying to balance everybody, I mean, when you're trying to balance things, it's really typically not for yourself. It's for all the external things, that have nothing to do with you. So like you said, if you put more emphasis on what is a priority right now,
Yep.
like do a list of, what are the things that are the most important right now that I definitely can't I can't stop doing. I have to keep doing these things. But maybe there's something in there that you've been doing that causes extra stress, that or something that you could take away that
Mm-hmm.
you're doing currently. So,
Even I can see it from the side of like your husband or your boyfriend, you want to spend more time with him. Like, give me more time, give me more time, give me more time. But you also want to have a lot more freedom and time, more money. And I can see how that conflict can come in. Like, you want even him to balance the time with you. But if he uses too much time with you, maybe you actually don't have the life you actually want to. How do you feel about that perspective on things as far as a woman wanting more balance also from their partner?
I mean, I feel like because it's something that we've been taught and we've probably heard all along, growing up in our household, try to balance it. Or, some people that say they're giving you marriage advice and they're telling you, well, just, find a way to balance it. And you're really looking to do that because you feel like that's going to be the key. But sometimes there's certain things and certain times and certain seasons in your marriage and your relationship that are going to require more attention in certain places. So whether that is finances, when somebody is really trying to get, you know, better financially, or they're trying to, lay a foundation for their family, well, they're having to spend more time doing that thing.
Yep.
So you can't expect, oh, well, I technically want our finances to grow, but I don't want this person spending extra time, doing the activities that make more money.
So it's really almost like being aware of what season you're in for your relationship, what season you're in with your kids. Like there's different parts. Like during this age, maybe I should be teaching them these things to make my life easier. Maybe during this season, maybe I should give them a little bit more responsibility. So so being aware of what season you're in, now you can prioritize what things that are most important during this season until we transition to the next one is probably a key component then.
Yeah.
What do you think are some of the, let's say, top three, top five things for moms that maybe are closer up to the top of the list, but kind of get pushed down when it comes to priorities?
So I think, personalized, like your personal self care is one of the things that if you're not really looking at it, you're not going to prioritize it because you have so many other things going on that you're leaving yourself less. So whether that be, oh, I'll just eat anything today, or I'm running around getting all these things done and I forget to eat, or I forget to really brush my hair. So now you see, all these women walking around in messy buns and not really doing their hair. Okay, we get it. Like, I've definitely had to do that because it's like, I got to get out of this house now.
Yep.
But if you don't prioritize, let's say 30 extra minutes, wake up a little bit earlier so you can put yourself together, take that hot shower that you really need, takes like eat a nutritious breakfast. That's what's fueling you. But a lot of times, because we're so focused on, everything else that's external, we don't take the time to have that self care for us. So I feel like that's one of the biggest things for moms. And then another thing would probably be, the relationships. So you see a lot of times, oh, well, because I have a new child, a new baby, I'm taking care of the household, then you let your relationship fall off. And now you just come together, and it's like, what do we even talk about? Like, we've been running around all day, you're working, I'm working, the kids, the household. And it's like, by the end of the day, you're just so exhausted,
Worn out.
worn
What do you
out.
think is something that can be done to make that better?
I mean, sometimes you have the possibility and even the partner that is willing to help out, and take certain loads off of you when they can. But even if you're not that person that has that help, there's still certain things that you can divide up your task so that it's not all in one day. Like, you feel like you have to do this every single day. Like, for me personally, I used to be the person that was doing laundry and folding clothes every single day. And I was just like, I can't do this. Like, it feels like I never get a break from this. So I decided, I'm only going to do it 2 times a week. Those days are basically my laundry days. Or if I have a day where I'm going to meal prep or I'm going to make some food
Mm-hmm.
to have during the week, where we can just heat up and the food is ready. I just found little things that I could do to make my life easier because I know most days when I get back, from work or, picking up the kids and all this, I'm exhausted.
Yep.
I'm too tired to now feel like, oh, I got to clean the house, I got to do laundry, I got to cook, I got to clean.
Yep.
So those things are typically the things that weigh down moms on top of everything that they're doing. Some moms are actually even still going to school.
Yep.
They have a full-time job,
Maybe multiple jobs.
multiple
Yep.
jobs,
Mm-hmm.
they have multiple kids,
Yep.
they're in a relationship. Like, can you imagine all those
Yep.
different things? So how do you even balance all of
So
that?
as much as it feels uncomfortable, it's less about balance and more about having some kind of structure,
Mm-hmm.
right? Having this is the time that I'm going to take to allot to this.
Mm-hmm.
This is the time I'm going to do with this, so that now you have the free. Almost the structure actually gives you more freedom
Mm-hmm.
because when you're doing so many things all at the same time, your whole week goes by and you didn't do some of the things to
Mm-hmm.
take time for yourself or take time for you and your partner
Yeah,
or even
and
take time for your kids sometimes because there's so many
exactly.
different things going on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then as your kids grow and they get older, like you said, you can start giving out certain responsibilities
Mm-hmm.
to the kids so that it doesn't feel like you have to be doing everything.
Yeah.
My kids, I ask them, to clean their room, take out the clothes that they're going to wear for the next day, the day before, so we're not running around in
Yeah.
the morning. Little things that you can start, putting into your routine that's going to make things easier.
That
But
really is the difference between like being intentional with your kids and not. Like if you're not really being intentional to say, I'm almost building my little helpers,
mm-hmm,
then you get the exact opposite of that, which is maybe people that always just like hand out, hand out, hand out,
mm-hmm,
give me, give me, give me, versus how can I help mom out too?
mm-hmm.
I can see how that could be a huge difference.
Yeah, and for us personally, I'm definitely thankful that you're the kind of person that helps
Mm-hmm.
where you can. I know that your schedule is pretty busy, but even with that, it's like I can't get upset because I have most of the household work
Mm-hmm.
because I know that you have certain loads that I don't have to carry.
Yep.
So when it comes to, providing, making extra income, I
Yep.
know you have your gym clients that
Mm-hmm.
you're basically like your time is very divided at
Mm-hmm.
times. Sometimes there's an influx, sometimes, there's not so many people. But it's about looking at things in a way where you find the way to feel okay with it. you find the way to say, well, technically, this is pushing us forward in this direction. So I'm okay with sacrificing and
Yep.
doing a little bit more in this direction, even though it may not feel balanced. We've
Hmm.
talked about this
Yep.
before, where our lives at times feel very hectic. They
Hmm.
feel like it's like nonstop,
Yep.
go, 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 go. But at the same time, we find a way to still, we have those days where we just lay back,
Yeah, I
we
think when
chill.
you're in those moments, it's time to really disconnect. Like, it
Hmm.
shouldn't be like you're halfway there and halfway not,
Hmm.
especially if you're not able to be there all the time. At least when you're there, be completely
Hmm.
there with your partner. Also, a lot of people get caught up in trying to do everything they want right now, and then they end up sacrificing what could have been later. So I think in many cases it's better to sacrifice in the short term so you can have everything you want later. You get the freedom you want later by doing the things you don't want to do now. That comes with even with kids. Like maybe you don't want to discipline right now because sometimes it feels uncomfortable, but discipline them now means you don't have to later. That can mean that hey, they're not in trouble later. They're around the right crowd a little bit, more
Hmm.
later. They're not in jail later. Like doing the things that are uncomfortable now makes a better life later. Like even with your relationship, there's different things. Well, I don't really want to mention this because it makes me uncomfortable that my partner is doing it. But if I have that conversation now, maybe we don't have to get to where it is later, but holding that in now, it boils and gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And now later on, it's a
Yeah, and then there
volcanic
are
effect.
issues and there are problems that you don't know if you're going to be able to solve later
There you
on,
go.
that take a lot more time, that like take a lot more pain, that take a lot more stress than if you would have just handled it in the moment. So I definitely see, the power of, not because your life is so hectic and so busy that you can't stop for a second and do those little things, because that's ultimately what's going to help you.
Ultimately, once again, it goes back to that it's not balancing, it's prioritizing and being in the moment to what things are going to help us go further later. Not just what's uncomfortable now and avoiding it. Let's address that so that we can keep pushing
Yeah,
forward.
and let's be real. The people that are really successful in life, none of them, I'm pretty sure, is going to say, oh, we had a balanced life. Things were just, they were smooth
Yep.
and they ran perfectly all the time. They're going to say there was a time
Yep.
where when I was trying to build this, it was, on the go, on the go. I was putting in the work, it
Yep.
was a lot of late
Yeah,
nights.
once again, it's seasons. They had a period of I'm just like full steam ahead, tunnel vision, and then you got that period of wait, they worked so hard, they put in so much effort that now they can get those relaxing times. Maybe now they can take a 2 week vacation or a month vacation
Yeah,
and
and
not
this
think
is
about it.
this is part of the things that we like to, share with people, is you want to do the work now, because if you wait until later, then you're going to be feeling like, wow, like this is the time for me to sit back, enjoy my family, not have to
Yep.
work two or three jobs,
Mhm.
but you're still stuck doing that because you didn't take the time to prioritize when you should have.
Yep.
So,
And on that same note, once again, because it's not about balance, but you still want to add in different pieces so that it's not like you just lost all that time. Like the time that go by and you didn't do nothing with your partner, you didn't do nothing with your kids. Just when you're in that moment, make sure that you put a little time aside to say, hey, when I'm here, I'm really here. So whether that's taking a vacation as a family, you don't want to wait to take your vacation 5 years from
yeah,
now,
and I
10
feel
years from
like those are the things that, because everybody thinks
now. Hmm.
differently and they have different goals and different things that they're going for, it's very important to voice that in your relationship. Like, hey, have you noticed that we haven't really, done this? Or it would be nice, to do that, because somebody could be so caught up in, what they're
Yep.
doing that they don't realize how much, or how much of a strain it really is putting on them. Even for women and for moms, like sometimes we don't see how much we've let ourselves go. And a lot of times our partners are not even going to say it. They're just going to let you sit in that because they would probably feel uncomfortable saying anything. But just going, 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 and trying to figure out how you're going to balance all these things puts you in the back burner.
Yep.
And that's not something that we want to do, as moms, because we're not giving our kids everything that we should be giving them if we're doing that. And we don't want to do that to ourselves because we're going to suffer, those consequences. And it's not helpful for your relationship
So
either.
basically, by trying to live a life of balance, you're actually creating more volatility and stress and pain for yourself
Hmm.
because everything is either growing or it's dying. There's nothing that's just staying the same.
Mm-hmm.
Even water doesn't stay the same. Different things fall into it that change how it
It
is. It
evaporates.
evaporates. Then when the wind blows, it's a different form. When it freezes, like even water, and it's probably one of the most purest things on the world and it still changes. So for us to try to just balance and stay the same, it's not possible. We're meant to grow. We're meant to get better, and then we slowly fade out as time goes. So if we can get to a place of not trying to balance everything and more trying to be intentional and prioritize and living life with purpose, much better off we'll be.
Mm-hmm.
On that note, that's the end of the video, New Birth Fitness family. We'll be back again before you know it.
See you next time.
See you.